Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping right into the latest updates from Mr. Ash regarding OnPassive.
That's right.
We've gone through a summary of a pretty important update call he gave recently.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal here is really to cut through the noise and give you the essential takeaways, what's actually happening with OnPassive's progress, their plans, and any shifts in strategy.
Exactly. We've basically distilled the key points from that call. And what seems to be coming through is, well, a sense of imminent activity, some strategic changes, and definitely a renewed focus on communication.
Okay.
He talked about future launches, realigning things, and keeping everyone in the loop. So yeah, let's unpack what that all actually means.
Okay, let's do that. Let's unpack it. Starting with probably what's top of mind for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Those upcoming launches.
Right.
Mr. Ash apparently indicated they're expected within the coming months. But what really stood out to me was his emphasis that things will happen sooner than maybe people thought.
Yeah, not months or a year off sort of time frame, more near term.
Yeah. Exactly. What do you make of that kind of accelerated timeline he's suggesting?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Especially because tied to that, there was this stress on the original video of the update call being very important. It makes you wonder, were the reasons for this faster pace or maybe even some specifics about the launches discussed more in that original video?
That's a really good point. It suggests there might be more context there.
Definitely. It hints that maybe the full picture, the why behind the speed, is in that original source.
Right. And even though our summary doesn't spell out what these launches are exactly, the fact he's highlighting how soon they are, well, it creates a sense of anticipation, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It signals something significant is on the horizon.
So typically, what kind of things would push a company to accelerate launches like this? I mean, what might be driving it?
Well, it could be a few things, really. Maybe key development steps got finished ahead of schedule. That happens.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or it could be more strategic, like maybe there's a market window they want to hit, or perhaps they need to respond to competitive moves faster than planned.
Ah, right. Competitive pressures.
Yeah. And this also ties into the next point. We should probably discuss the whole strategic realignment piece.
Yes, let's get into that.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's a deliberate effort going on to sort of refine OnPassive's overall direction.
Mm-hmm. Strategic realignments.
And a big part of this, it seems, is tackling misinformation. The summary mentions a significant amount of it floating around.
Yeah, that stood out.
Why do you think focusing on misinformation is so important right now for them?
Well, acknowledging it upfront is pretty telling. It suggests it's a real challenge they're facing, It makes you ask where it's coming from and how it might be affecting things, the community, the company's image.
Sure.
And the fact that they're emphasizing direct communication from the CEO as being crucial, well, that shows leadership is aware, and they're trying to create a clear channel, straight from the top to counter it.
And it also mentioned Mr. Ash is working with a new team on these strategies. That's interesting.
It is.
How might bringing in new people impact both the strategy rethink and fighting that misinformation?
A new team can bring, well, fresh eyes, right? Different skills, perhaps. Maybe people who are specialists in communication turnarounds or strategic pivots.
Okay.
It could signal they're really serious about changing things up, injecting some new energy into tackling these problems.
Makes sense. Okay, shifting gears slightly to recent developments mentioned in the update. It referenced back to September 2023.
Right, a specific time frame.
And a key point was the start of commission payments. That sounds pretty major.
Oh, absolutely. For those eligible, starting to see commissions, that's tangible progress. It's likely a big morale boost, showing the operational side is moving forward.
Definitely a concrete step.
But it's also worth noting the summary did mention some concerns about potential job losses connected to certain circumstances.
Ah, okay. So it's not all straightforwardly positive then. There's some nuance.
Exactly. It paints a more complex picture. Progress in one area, but potential difficulties or adjustments may be happening elsewhere.
Right. In the summary notes, Mr. Ash is committed to keeping people informed through these changes. His visit on December 26th was highlighted as being important for that.
Mm-hmm. That direct engagement.
Why is that so critical? Especially when there might be difficult news or uncertainty. Having the leader show up and talk directly.
It's huge for building trust, isn't it? And transparency. When leaders communicate directly, especially during tricky times, it allows people to ask questions, voice concerns.
Yeah, it feels less like information is being hidden.
Precisely. It helps people understand the why behind decisions and hopefully maintain confidence in the overall direction, even if there are bumps in the road.
Okay. Another theme that came through was founder engagement. Founders are apparently actively participating.
Yeah, a collaborative spirit was mentioned.
And the importance of genuine actions from everyone involved was stressed. What does that phrase, genuine actions, signal to you?
Hmm, genuine actions. It sounds like they're looking for more than just passive agreement. It suggests a call for real, meaningful contributions. Authenticity.
Like walk the talk.
Kind of, yeah. Active, sincere participation to actually help drive things forward, not just being on the list, but being involved. That kind of commitment from early supporters is often vital.
And interestingly, founders were also encouraged to pursue their own initiatives while waiting for more company updates,
Right, that was an interesting bet.
empowering people to act independently. What could be the upside of that kind of approach?
Well, it taps into the skills and ideas across the whole founder base, doesn't it? You might get creative solutions popping up that the central company wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah, like grassroots innovation.
Exactly. It also keeps people engaged, gives them a sense of ownership and momentum, even if the main company developments are still pending. It could even generate useful stuff the company can adopt later.
A more hands-on approach, potentially providing solutions from within the community itself.
Could be. It fosters a more proactive culture, maybe.
Now let's circle back to the pace of progress. Mr. Ash apparently kept emphasizing the rapid speed of projects,
Yes, that came up repeatedly.
reiterating that significant developments are imminent, that sooner rather than later message again. Why keep hitting that point so hard, do you think?
Well, it does a few things, I suppose. It builds excitement, obviously. Keeps the community energized and hopeful that things are really moving.
Manages expectations upwards, in a way.
Maybe. Or reassures them progress is happening fast behind the scenes. It could also be a message to the wider market. Signaling momentum.
Right, projecting confidence.
Yeah. And it connects nicely with expressing gratitude for the community's support. Like, thanks for sticking with us. Things are happening fast. It reinforces that positive loop.
Makes sense. But alongside that forward momentum, he also acknowledged recent setbacks,
Yes. That's important too.
recognizing challenges, saying they've provided lessons and influenced these strategic changes they're making now. What's the value in openly admitting setbacks like that?
It builds credibility, I think, shows they're not pretending everything's perfect, and suggests the current plans aren't just theory, but they're based on actual experience, learning from what didn't work.
So a more pragmatic approach, perhaps.
Exactly. It can actually be quite reassuring for the community, showing the company is willing to learn and adapt based on real-world stuff.
And he gave assurances that these ongoing efforts are aimed at getting to, better and more secure outcomes down the line.
Mm-hmm. Future-focused.
And crucially, they're apparently committed to seeking feedback now to make sure communication and engagement actually work effectively.
Why is setting up that feedback loop so vital?
Oh, it's essential for any group that relies on a community like this.
Yeah.
It lets you know if your message is landing, allows for course correction.
Avoids talking into an echo chamber. Right. It builds a sense of partnership. If you actively ask for and use feedback, people feel heard, and you can make sure what you're building actually aligns with what the community needs or expects. It builds stronger relationships.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. To recap our deep dive into this Mr. Ash update.
Yeah.
We're definitely hearing strong signals about launches coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, imminence is a key theme.
There's a clear push on strategic realignment, getting the company back on track, and actively fighting misinformation.
Right. Addressing challenges head on.
And the update really underscores how much they value the community and the founders being actively involved, all shaped by recent experiences, both the good and the bad.
Absolutely. It paints a picture of a company in motion, adapting, and trying to communicate clearly about its next steps.
So thinking about all this, Mr. Ash really hammering home the rapid pace, the need to fix misinformation, and leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener.
Yeah, considering all that, what specific expectations or maybe even concerns does this raise for you about where OnPassive is heading? And I guess, how important do you feel it is to stay informed and have a clear perspective as all this continues to unfold? Something to think about.
I trust this. I believe in it. I am moving with a choice, my own choice. Nobody's forcing you to go along, right? And I'm talking to the public right now. But it's a mistake. It's a massive mistake if you're going through just out of curiosity or somebody told you to do. I haven't seen any creativity comes, from somebody who's forced to do a job or any type of activities. The best success, creativity, accomplishments come when you have passion, conviction, love in what you're doing. With the right people. Now, any other opinion, if you're with us outside our network or atmosphere, it's a distraction. If you want to listen to it, if they propose a better choice, a better plan to you, I'll be happy to cheer for you. But don't take evaluations from somebody's either, whether unknown, complete, bogus, ambiguous, personality, no track record success, no history. They haven't done anything good for humanity. They're always, grumping and bitching about everything. Make sure you follow people who are ahead of you. They've done it before. They have track record. They can prove, and they at least they're not going to diminish what you've achieved on your own or previously. Nothing worse than taking advice from somebody who's less qualified than yourself. So we're all clear that we must change. We're all clear that this change not going to be the same as the past. We're going to have less talk about specifics. We can talk more about things when they're there. Now, the question is, when do we move to the next phase? Okay. Very short and sweet, to the point. Okay. We wouldn't talk about the next phase until, number one, completely detached from the previous culture or mentality or mindset. If you're in the same mentality 3 years ago, we're not ready, including myself. If I am in the present now, have applied all the knowledge, all the mistakes, all of that to the next, then we're good. That's one. Second thing is, we are not moving to OnPassive 2.0. We're not moving to a refurbished OnPassive. I said it last time. We don't have any commonality between OnPassive and next chapter, one common. As of now, you're not in it. Only Ash Mufara. Only myself. Not a line of code, not a big product or office, country, one single staff member. None of that has moved or will move to the next chapter. Are we clear on that? Now, if you come along, you would say, yeah, we have OnPassive in common. So it was you, myself, in a different business. Are we clear on that? We will not go to the next chapter until we complete our case with the SEC or conclude it. We're very optimistic and hopeful that it will be a good outcome. Potentially within the next 60 days. Within the next 60 days, potentially this could be resolved favorably. That has to be done before we talk about the next chapter. So mindset, okay, be clear that this is not repeating or repackaging. SEC case must be done. And then the technical preparation must be done. So what are we doing? What are we busy with right now? It's all about preparation, because I believe every day either you prepare for tomorrow or repair from yesterday. So either you prepare or you repair. For the last year or so, okay, we've been repairing and preparing. Repairing mistakes and, criminal acts of others, fatal mistakes that we had to fix because they were lack of experience, character, and they just got a position. People wouldn't follow so and so because of what they've done for them. They didn't do anything for anybody, right? They just had a position. We had to listen to them, or others invited them, or we've, kind of like sent them to attend events and all of that. So they thought, they're like, oh, I'm the boss. I'm, uh, an angel on earth, right? Because people can really get fooled by pictures or all of that. It's only a title. Leaders are not taken by their title or position. Leaders get everybody ahead of them. People will follow the leaders, not a position. Leaders who have literally inspired them or somewhat transformed something in your life. I say it often, we do business with people we know. It's not the product, it's not the mechanics. 80%, if not more, it's about the nature of leaders, the type of people. If I trust Mr. DeGarmo, I don't care what the product is. We can change that. I'll follow him. Give me a superior product, mechanics, plan, whatever, with somebody who I don't know and I don't trust. I will follow. I'm not saying, okay, if, this is an area of my interest, that product or whatever, the journey, I'll do it. But the minute this transaction is over, let's say I buy the product or whatever, okay, our relationship is done. I'm not following the person. So it's transactional, not like based on relationship. That's why I believe the next chapter, which I will talk about, by the way, is more powerful than what we've had before, for the reasons I will list in a bit. So as we move forward, okay, we can expect, I'll give you, updates and progress on the SEC case on, we will communicate to see if we're mentally ready to start talking about the next phase and therefore, reveal. But technically, it must be ready before we talk about it. So hypothetical display, I'm not going to beat them. We're going to beat them 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, that's a dream. Okay. I'll come here on the screen. I'll walk you through the products. And I tell you, if you're impressed, take it. You don't have to. Not going to be talking about something you don't see. Not going to talk about a dream. On a personal side, I talk to you, I chat to you, I'll tell you all my passion, all my vision. Okay. Yes, no problem. I'm not having that as a secret. But when it comes to the mechanics, a specific product or whatever, or platform, we'll not talk about it. We'll put it out there. We'll tell you, here it is. And then we talk about how to get there and all of that, right? Live. So I'm going to say again, the questions mostly have been around the area of, the next chapter, about if I have team, could they come with me? How much, from the products or the percentages finished, all of that, etc. The stability, the security. Are we going to have something like, like OMail? Are we going to have some repeated? Okay. So I think I'm going to talk about the next chapter more of what it is not. First, it is not OnPassive 2.0. It is not a money-making Ponzi. It is not a refurbished product. Not because we have to. No, this is what we want. It is not going to be multi-level marketing. None. It is not a matrix. It's not a binary. None of that. Not multi-level marketing / MLM. It's not. It is not a passive income program. It is not a program. It is not a get rich quick scheme. And it is not a rebranded OnPassive. Nothing from OnPassive is in the next chapter. Nothing. Sure, the experience, the lessons, yeah. No employees, no locations, not a device, not a single line of code, not an image, not a website, none of that. Which brings me to say, we're not leaving OnPassive. OnPassive is there, still has, even beyond the SEC settlement, there will be a few pending cases and matters that we have to settle and clear. I'll keep you posted on that as we go. To To the point is like to what's important, how much you need to know. We don't need to brew too much on negativity. I know people are more intrigued by, drama and all of that, but as a brother to you, it's not that productive. Our time, energy, and focus should be where we want to go, to things that actually will make a difference in your life and around you. You want to make an impact. You don't want to die just like that. It doesn't matter how much you have in your bank account, how tough you are. What matters is what you leave impact to the person next to you, behind you, around you. It is worth it. It is worth it. So keep your eyes on the goal, on the dream, not on the past, and just be more optimistic. Let's do it quietly. One of the mistakes we've learned that showing our success attracted the wrong people. We were a good hunt for them. And obviously we had criminals in-house on the payroll, right? And them seeing your treasure was so attractive to them. But we're not going to boast or blab about that until we win. To me, it's like a naked chicken dancing in front of a fox. We don't have to do that. You know about it. Your families live in it. That's all what matters. And what is the next business? So I kind of like said what is not, and be careful with that. I want to tell you upfront, don't ask me about questions. What about this? Because we've had it on passive. Don't reference to OnPassive. New chapter. Why, Ash, do you believe this is going to be a better success? I tell you what, we've done it before. It was a success. We've attracted millions of people, good and bad, and we've taken the time to weed out those bad, hopefully, and keep the good, deserving people with us. Five, 6 years ago, we didn't have this many committed, loyal, intelligent, sharp leaders. We were fewer, right? And we were still new in our relationship. Now we have a ton of memory and memories, together. We know more about each other. We